Welcome to Crossing the Line, a fanfiction podcast where we read, review, and critique fanfiction for your listening pleasure. Welcome to the very first official Gold and Silver Fanfiction Jam, where we will be reading fan-submitted fanfiction about your favorite PAWNSTARS heroes. Rick, Big Hoss, Chum Lee, and the Old Man. I'm George Jeeple, and as always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Viva Vlogs.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Blue Breed.
Hello. Welcome to PAWNSTARS. In Crossing the Line, you never know what's gonna come through fanfiction.net.
If there's one thing I've learned in 21 years, you never know what's gonna come through fanfiction.net. That's right, old man. Here's your check.
Once again, shout out to Da Things. She makes great YouTube poop content, and without her PAWNSTARS, we wouldn't have had this genius idea. That is genius, and you can't tell me otherwise.
I just wish fanfiction had a category for PAWNSTARS because it doesn't for some reason.
That's what this was supposed to accomplish.
Well, there's no way to add a category on the apps or on the website or anything.
Well,
That's
maybe
so
we
weird.
need to call Paul Fanfiction.
Alright, I'll look up their number.
Gonna call a friend real quick.
Maybe they have a helpline or something.
You mind if I call somebody and check this out? Call in an expert. So yeah, see if you can get the fanfiction hotline. In the meantime, Steven, Blue Breed, you love PAWNSTARS. What's your favorite thing you've ever pawned?
I don't think I've ever pawned something, but my favorite PAWNSTARS character is, let's see.
You change the subject to have nothing to back it up with.
They only have an email, but I'll email them.
Very well, my favorite.
Say hey, we're doing a community jam, and we're wondering if you can get if we can get a tag for PAWNSTARS added. Thank you.
Hello?
I mean, it's too late now, but...
If it helps, it helps. There'll be more community jams. We'll have more gold and silver fanfic.
I like Chumley and his giant collection of shoes.
Do you like Chumley and his criminal charges?
They're part of his character development.
I love that arc in the anime.
Same, especially when he makes the candy store across from the pawn shop.
Yeah, did you know about that?
Yeah. He made a killing. He's smart.
Yeah, my god.
All the tourists were coming when the show got big. He made so much money on that candy shop. I mean, it was also front, but...
I hope it's... I hope it's shaped exactly like the chum bucket.
Exactly like Chumley's head.
AKA the chum bucket.
You walk into his mouth. Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Just like the vortex in Atlanta. Big head.
I've been there. It's cool.
What?
Oh, my Lord.
What it's like inside? I always gone by there.
It's like a Mexican restaurant.
What? I thought it was a bar. That's way too cool to be a Mexican.
It has a bar,
Mexican restaurants are cool, but it looks like a seedy bar.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think we just happened upon it when we were in Atlanta, and we were like, well, it's a skull. We can try it out. With a bunch of thrift stores in the same plaza.
Okay, hi, we're doing a community jam and we're wondering how we can add a new category. For example, this time we're doing a bunch of PAWNSTARS fanfictions, but there's no PAWNSTARS categories.
There are no PAWNSTARS categories.
Fanfictions, but there are no PAWNSTARS categories.
Thank you.
Alright.
Listen here. My name is Rick Harrison.
Listen here.
I need you to add something. I need you to do something for me. And add our pawn shop to your categories list.
Our pawn shop, PAWNSTARS.
Do not make me call someone I know.
I'd like to add my business to the fanfiction list.
I would like to put ads on your website, but not share the revenue, please.
I have a canon crossover in my lore. It's fine. I lose my head in Vegas.
Have you ever watched iCarly? Ha ha ha. I was in it.
Ha ha, those kids are pretty funny. The blonde one's kind of hot, but don't tell her I said that.
Have you ever seen the fappening? She has.
The fappening.
I like the one where she's holding the Thor hammer in her underwear. Oh my god.
You think someone tried to pawn the fappening?
Probably. I would doubt it.
They just bring a flash drive in and Shumley's eyes start to water. His lips start to water, his dick starts to water.
Look, I need to call somebody. Calls the fucking police.
Alright, what's everybody's experience with Pawn Stars?
I watched a lot of it with my grandma, actually. It was one of the better shows on History Channel, I'd say.
Same. I liked a lot of the pawn-related, pawn/merchandise collecting related things on History Channel, and PAWNSTARS actually had, like, a lot of personality to it.
It must have been the twilight years of me owning TV, because I did watch a lot of that also.
We're all just a bunch of old salts watching Pawn Stars.
Yeah.
Right.
It's no American Pickers, but I'm a big fan.
This show is dedicated to the old man. God rest his soul.
Maybe next jam we can do an American Pickers episode. But the characters are not nearly as good, so maybe not.
We can just insert characters to be them.
There's the hot girl at the counter they call in.
Oh, yes, I forgot all about her. Oh,
And
God.
there's the sort of Nigel Thornberry motherfucker lead man.
They're like Wario and Waluigi.
Yeah, they are. That's a good comparison. They have similar builds.
Yeah, the girl is just Mona.
I remember there was an episode of Pickers where
don't call it that.
I can't help it. My brain remembers them as Pickers and nothing else. Where they were like betting on the short guy's ability to shoot a basketball and whether or not they would get a deal on something.
Oh, yeah,
and he
watched that.
And he beefed it, and then the tall guy just like collapsed to the ground.
For a while, we were going to the gym, and on the treadmill, we would watch the show because it was like always on at a certain time.
Yeah, they play History Channel is one of the gym's like few channels they have on their big TVs all over the place, and you could just watch American Pickers and Forged in Fire and really get a burn in your exercise.
It's true. I picked the episode of American Pickers where they picked a picket fence.
This is not an American Pickers episode!
Alright, cut out everything except the American Pickers content, and then go right into the stories.
I just really liked the alliteration.
Okay, I'll stop doing that.
Just leave it on the ground.
Yeah.
Make one up off the top of your head.
Okay. Who would like to go first?
I will. As I said in the beginning of the show, or may not have said, I don't remember, where all the stories we're reading are ones that were submitted for this jam, and we are super stoked because we've got some bangers lined up. We haven't read any of them ahead of time, of course, but this first one we're reading is by our main man, Big Boy Writer, who used to be known as Just Sagan, and if you've listened to the show, I'm sure you've heard us talk about this series before.
He's also been on the show.
He's been on the show. He is a pro. He's a VIP.
Hell yeah.
And since the point of this is the one time where we're trying to promote people and not let them be bullied by writing stuff 10 years ago that they forgot about. This is a Big Boy Writer on fanfiction with his story Hank Hill vs. Pawn Stars. Chapter 1. It was an eerily quiet evening in Arlen. Hank stood alone at his usual hangout spot. None of his friends were there to drink beers with him, making Hank feel uncomfortably lonely.
Yeah, it's kind of sad when you're drinking beer alone.
Yeah.
Yup. Hank took a sip from his beer while looking around his empty street. The neighborhood was usually quite quiet, but never this quiet. It was starting to make him feel uncomfortable, but that wouldn't stop him from seeing if his friends would show up, though he would slowly lose hope as the minutes went by. "Dad! Dad!" The familiar voice of Bobby yelled from down the street. Hank was a little startled, but happy to finally hear someone else. He looked over, seeing Bobby and Joseph fast approaching on their bikes. Hank's smile quickly faded as he could already tell by their worried looks that something was wrong. What happened, boys? Do I gotta go kick that charcoal salesman's ass again? Hank asked as they came to a stop in front of him. Bobby took a moment to catch his breath, while Joseph looked to be on the verge of tears.
Oh no.
That new pawn shop is evil, Bobby finally began. What? Hank replied, already confused. They're stealing people's souls, Joseph interrupted. And they took my dad's soul.
Oh my god.
Joseph broke down in tears. The sight was enough to make Hank's heart sink.
I can't imagine how he sounds like when he cries.
You're kind of glazing over that the PAWNSTARS took their souls.
I said, your soul is the best I can do.
How else did they keep the old man alive for so long?
The old man specifically took their soul.
His eyes lit up and opened for the first time as he absorbed their essence and youth.
Opened all the way for the first time in 20 years.
He's like in Perfect Cell. When he opens his eyes, you see the souls of everyone he's absorbed in his eyes.
That looks like shit on the waveform.
Of you inhaling?
Yeah. It was a glob.
We peaked so hard before.
That's gonna suck later. Anyway. Are you talking about that new PAWNSTARS? How did you find out about this? We saw Khan trying to pawn off your propane flamethrower.
No.
Bobby began explaining.
Flamethrower?
It's like video game replica.
Oh yeah.
Khan was pawning off things that weren't his. When he got the money for it, they offered to buy his soul for $10,000. Right on the spot. Hank sighed a little while grabbing his truck keys.
Khan would sell his soul.
He would.
God dang it, Khan. I thought getting the stinky fish from Sylvanus would have taught him the messing with the supernatural.
Come again? The stinky fish?
The stinky fish from Sylvanus.
What?
I'm sure this is part of deep big boy lore.
I guess so.
They're messing with the
character from, I don't know, the Sylvanus comes up as like the character from World of Warcraft.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Beautiful dark elf woman.
Yeah, he was writing about Warcraft, I think, pretty recently. I'm sorry, big boy writer. I haven't kept up. I need to get back on the lore. Anyway, Dad, they offered $10,000 for something he probably didn't even think existed. I think most people would have taken that offer, Bobby argued. Hank looked around again at his empty neighborhood. Good point, son. Can't imagine how many poor bastards got tricked. Hank's comment made Joseph cry even harder. Don't worry, Joseph. I'll rescue your father.
I'll get your dad's soul back.
That's characterized so well. You would be really uncomfortable.
Yeah, that is such a thing where, like, the kids in his life have moments and he doesn't know how to respond to them.
Right.
So he just does his best to make things right. It's like when Connie's staying over and then she has her period.
Oh, that was such a good scene. Oh, I love
Like,
that. This one's on me.
Peggy?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Let's see. I should be back around 9 or 10. If not, then round up some other students and form an angry mob. Make sure it's big enough to attack a pawn shop. Bobby waved, but was a little confused. How many students we talking? At least 20, maybe 30, Hank replied as he got in his truck. Bobby nodded as Hank began driving away. He hoped his father wouldn't need the assistance of the student mob, but it wouldn't be the first time Bobby had to save the day with one.
It'd be hard for Bobby to get that many friends to join him.
That's true, he doesn't have a lot.
Yeah.
Joseph does have the jock power, though.
If he can control it in his low state.
True,
Yeah.
true. His fucking muscled ass fucking tackling adults. He's gonna fucking take Rick Harrison out.
I don't know. He's got that knife. That knife brass knuckle combo.
Oh, fuck.
Punch, stab, punch, stab, attack him.
And that gun.
Let's see. It didn't take long for Hank to reach the pawn shop. The comically large PAWNSTARS posters featuring Rick Harrison and Corey Harrison was a dead giveaway.
Giant movie star posters.
As he pulled into the parking lot, he saw something very expected but no less horrifying. Oh, God! Dale's van, Boomhauer's car, and Khan's vehicle were all parked in the lot. Just having the confirmation brought out his inner rage. His determination to save his friends was amplified, even more so when he noticed an old man with a black PAWNSTARS shirt walking out. Hank quickly found a spot to park, not caring how well he actually parked. The old man was giving him weird looks as Hank started getting out the moment he turned the truck off. "Hey, you!" Hank yelled as he got out of his tow truck. The old man frowned a little.
The old man.
The old man, all capital. Hey, no need to yell. I may be old, but I'm not deaf yet. Hank slammed his door shut. He wanted to yell the old man's head off, but figured he should at least attempt restraint first. Sorry about that. I had a, bad day at work. Hank died a little inside with that lie.
You'd never have a bad day at work.
All good, man. We all get that way. And the name's Richard Old Man Harrison.
Nice.
In Old Man and Gold.
Right.
He knows he's famous.
Hank cleared his throat a little. I'm Hank Hill. I just wanted to know more about this whole selling of souls thing. Richard grins a little. Well, we're looking for the best soul this town has to offer. Lucky for all you, or y'all, we're paying more than we usually. Richard Harrison could see the absolute unhinged rage in Hank's eyes. So you bastards have been taking people's souls. Blah!
Fucking screams.
Hank socked Richard in the nose, causing blood to get all over his white shirt. The back of the old man's skull landed on the hard concrete below. Blood began pooling all around his body.
His defense
Absolutely killed him.
One punch.
That tears it.
He's got to free the souls. He'll escape from the old man's eyes.
Oh, Lord.
Hank momentarily looked down at Richard Harrison's body before heading inside. He didn't care, even acknowledge the man whose life he had just ended.
He deserved it.
Inside the pawn shop was very welcoming. Many different and unique items were on display. Each one looked like it had its own story, along with a hefty price. Hey! A chubby man with longish dark hair greeted from behind the counter.
Oh, no.
I'm Chumley Russell, and he almost immediately noticed the blood on Hank's shirt. Looks like you have ketchup on your shirt, Chumley Russell nervously pointed out.
He does laugh like that.
Let me say, Looks like you have ketchup on your shirt, Chumley Russell nervously pointed out. Hank narrowed his eyes and reached over to choke him. Babe Ruth couldn't react in time to save himself from Hank's wrath.
His neck would be hard to grab.
True, how'd he find his jugular under all that?
Life finds a way.
He just feels in his fat rolls with his thumbs.
What made you bastards think stealing souls was a good idea? Hank roared while squeezing the life out of him. Chumley attempted to claw at Hank's face with his nails, but Hank was having none of it, so he shoved Chumley into a closet door right behind him. Gah! Chumley Russell cried out as he felt a broken piece of the wooden door stab him in the back.
Holy shit.
He fell to his knees while breathing heavily. As he did, the door came down on with him. Hank hopped the counter, ready to finish him off. A glow coming from the closet caught his eye, though, to something disturbing. Oh, God! Dozens of jars... Oh, that's Hank saying, "Oh, God!" Dozens of jars containing various colored souls lined the shelves of the closet. Each individual jar was priced differently, ranging from $1,000 all the way up to $120,000. Hank! Dale's voice cried out from a brown spirit with an orange hat. His soul was priced at $57,000.
Not bad.
I
Brown
like-
spirit with an orange hat.
Yeah. It's just like a swirling cloud with his hat on it.
Like a fucking Scooby-Doo souls.
Mm-hmm. Ew. I don't like those. Put him back. Free us, Hank, please, Bill cried out. His soul was priced at $100,500.
Whoa.
He's
Are they
worth
priced by weight?
I don't know. Maybe it's maybe the soul holds more tragedy.
Maybe it's more kind of a person.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't figured out yet how maybe I'm sure Rick will explain it later.
He'll call in his expert to explain how they judge value.
It's the fucking Reaper.
Yeah.
Dangle PAWNSTARS, dangle tricked us. Dangle gold and silver bullshit. Boomhauer added. His soul was priced at $17,000.
Jeez.
Hank's face began to turn a bright red. Save us, redneck! I didn't know souls were real! Con yelled. His soul was priced at $83,000. This is like wanted poster values.
Yeah.
The One Piece power ranking.
Bill is so fucking strong.
Many other voices began to crying out. Their endless pleas for rescue only fueled Hank's rage. Hank grabbed a baseball bat that was signed by Babe Ruth and smashed the jars. Chumley Russell started to recover a little, only to see the souls flying away into a do-not-enter door. No! Do you have any idea how much money you just lost us? He cried out. Hank narrowed his eyes again and whacked him upside the head. He went down again, this time for good. Good riddance. Hank watched as the last of the souls entered the restricted room. He hopped back over to the counter, figuring he should go see where they were heading.
I'm waiting for the counter to just collapse under his weight. Another glass.
Yeah. Just a glass counter. Hank, just as he got over there, two men walked in. Hank almost immediately recognized them as Rick Harrison and Corey Harrison from the posters. "What the hell?" Rick Harrison yelled. The two men stared at their smashed-up jars for a few moments. They looked both pissed and distraught. Their eyes eventually shifted over to Hank. "How?" Corey Harrison began, nearly on the verge of tears. "How could you ruin our profits like that? Do you have... He suffered a heart attack and died on the spot. His black soul floats above his body, hovering in place. Rick Harrison was a bit shaken by this, but no less focused on Hank.
A bit shaken by his son having a heart attack and dying in front of him.
His soul leaving his body.
Oh my god.
What makes you think you can just come up here and smash up my pawn shop? Hank was dumbfounded. Me? What makes you think you can just go taking people's souls? Rick Harrison chuckles a little. Souls are worth more than gold and silver right now, and I intend to maximize my profits. Hank clenched his bat. Well, you made one goddamn mistake, I'll tell you what. Hank got into a fighting stance. You messed with my town. Rick Harrison smiled a little. Well, this might be your town. Rick Harrison placed his hand over Corey Harrison's soul and morphed into a vintage wooden baseball bat.
Whoa.
But this is my pawn shop.
He's a reaper.
Yes.
He's controlling souls like a meister.
Epic battle music starts playing and... You're dead, Rick Harrison! A voice from the restricted room yelled. A sudden feeling of dread took hold of Rick Harrison. Oh, shit! He looked back at the room. Chumley Russell didn't dispose of the bodies. The residents of Arlen busted down the door, flooding the pawn shop with a mob of pissed-off customers, quote-unquote. They surrounded and pounced at once on Rick Harrison.
Oh, no.
Hank, not wanting to get caught up in the crossfire, maneuvered around the madness. Let's rip him apart, a crazy lady yelled. Yeah, and then let's burn his pawn shop down, Sid the unhinged kid added. Whoa, Hank cringed, realizing the horrible death Rick Harrison was doomed to.
Cringe.
Fortunately, he wouldn't have to think on this long, as his four friends walked out to the room. They looked rough, but were filled with joy when they saw Hank. Hank! Dan began yelling while running up to Hank. Thank you, thank you. He full-on bear-hugged Hank. Bill quickly joined in on the fun. I don't know what we'd do without you, Bill cried. Boomhauer and Con walked up, making sure to avoid the mob. Yeah, redneck, you really saved our asses this time, Con thanked. Hank broke off the group hug. You're lucky I'm not kicking your ass. That flamethrower was a gift from my mom. Sid the unhinged kid managed to find said flamethrower.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Sid immediately began lighting the place on fire, giving no shits about friendly fire. We should probably go, Dale suggested. The five quickly ran out to the parking lot. It didn't take long for everyone else to follow behind. They left Rick Harrison's body to burn. Outside, the residents all ran as far away from the pawn shop as possible, leaving Hank and his friends to watch the building burn. So, Bill began. You think Sid will make it out of this one? If he doesn't, he'll die doing what he loves, replied Con. Hank rolled his eyes. Sid's done dumber and more dangerous stuff than this. You guys know that. Dang all Hank's right, Boomhauer added. They all took one last look at the building. Well, I'm bored. Let's go drink some beers, Dale suggested. I'll tell you what, dang old beers sound good about dang old real good right now. Those dang old PAWNSTARS are gonna dang old use my soul as a dang old devil condom. Hank gagged a little. Let's just leave before I vomit. The end.
Ooh, it is again.
Big boy writer never fails to impress.
I give that, let's see. I give that one episode of PAWNSTARS where they didn't have to call in anybody out of 10.
I give that Rick Harrison wielding his son's ethereal form out of 10.
I give that Hank kicked 0 asses, but kicked a lot of ass.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Thank you, big boy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, which one of you is next?
Let's see, Elias.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Open in docs.
All right, so yeah, tell us, give us a little bit of a, give a shout out to your boy.
Yes, this one is written by Abby, and it was posted in the Crossing the Line Clubhouse Discord, which you can join. There's links on our Twitter there. And yeah, he just posted the doc directly to the Discord self-promotion channel, so if you want to check that out, you can check that out there also. As far as I know, is it on fanfiction.net, or is it just there?
No, he said he hasn't uploaded it yet, which is understandable. It's kind of hard or tedious to upload the fanfiction.
Mm-hmm.
But it is on the Discord for those who would like to read it. If not, you're going to hear it right now.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Open in docs. Save to drive. Oh.
Right now.
Oh, there we go. Author's note. I've written this through the duration of a few afternoons to make sure this fanfiction was as amateurish as possible. I hope that you all have fun with it and don't forget to do as you do and skis as you please. Enjoy.
Hell yeah.
You're a boy, Avi.
Hell yeah.
In Las Vegas, there. Oh, hold on. Let me also shout out his Twitter just because I don't have another way to reference him.
That's true. Yes, plug the boy.
Yosh.
This is Avi or AVI_Vision15 on Twitter. Okay. In Las Vegas, there is a shop known as the world-famous Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, in where people can sell or pawn their assumed valuable items to Rick Harrison, Old Man, Big Hoss, and Chumley, a.k.a. the PAWNSTARS.
Big Hoss is such a funny name.
Yeah.
He's also like such an I don't want to say unlikable. He's just such a nothing character.
Yeah,
But he's such a cool name.
He has the least amount of personality.
Yeah.
And that's going up against the old man.
True.
At least the old man is old.
The old man's a brick house.
Yeah.
As usual with the pawn shop business, you never know what someone is trying to sell and where it came from. Some of these items are normal, like a vintage Coke cooler, or something unusual, like ICBM missile launch keys. While most of the items... Let me get my ICBM missile launch expert.
He has to get the Secretary of Defense.
He just does the normal like title card. It's like U.S. Secretary of Defense.
Right.
While most of the items that are sold off can range from being simple to the unusual, but overall, they are relatively normal. But one day, a very smoking item was about to enter the shop. It was just a regular day in the pawn shop. People were browsing the selection of vintage items, collectibles, and jewelry. As the pawn shop is going through the daily grind, a man who looks similar to Jim Carrey enters the shop, carrying what looks like a green mask. So it is Jim Carrey.
Oh no!
No, it's his character in the mask.
It's Jim Carrey playing his character in the mask.
Fucking Stanley. Oh my lord.
And he,
Don't put it on, Rick!
You know he slides one foot deep into that store before he comes in.
He has to call fucking Loki in order to appraise it. Jesus Christ.
As he walks through the shop, he sees two of the PAWNSTARS. With some confidence, he walks up to Big Hoss and Chumley. He puts down the item. He introduces himself as Stanley Ipkiss. So, how does Stanley sound?
Like Jim Carrey.
Okay. So the item I have here is an old green mask that I have for years, and I want to get rid of it. The item he is describing is a dark green mask with a metallic bit in the middle. As Stanley and Big Hoss were negotiating on how much the mask should be sold for Chumley, sold for, there's no
I'm trying to think if it's like
punctuation.
Verbatim.
Like the mask itself, like in the Jim Carrey movies, is like brown until you put it on. So like, it's weird because in the comic version it is green. It's like made of crystal.
Maybe he's looking at Son of the Mask.
Oh lord.
Any circumstances. Oh wait. The mask should not be worn in any circumstances, as he just said. As he just said it, Chumley picks up the mask and puts it on.
Oh no!
God, Chumley's not allowed to have a personality!
Chumley's gonna fucking have cartoon powers!
His mind is gonna operate too quickly and break his body.
Chumley's gonna move slightly faster.
He's gonna be exactly the same, but slightly more active.
Slightly less lazy.
He's gonna pull out fucking cartoony shotguns and blow the place up.
He's gonna hit Big Hoss with a big hammer, and he's gonna crinkle like a xylophone or an accordion.
Drop a fucking piano on Big Hoss, and when he comes out, all of his teeth are gonna be piano keys.
Drop a piano on the old man and kill him so hard that he dies yesterday.
It operates by the comic logic where he's the only one who has cartoon powers.
Yes, he's just smashing people for real.
Holy shit.
Like the villain in Roger Rabbit.
Oh god. So they're gonna come in and sell the gloop.
Anyway.
Chumley puts it on, and when doing so, he starts to scream as he went into a spinning phase, which looks similar to Taz the Tasmanian Devil.
Scream like Chumley.
Revving up, spinning faster and faster. As the spinning concluded, a figure that looked similar to Chumley was standing in his place. He looked like Chumley in shape, but his apparel looked different. It was a yellow tuxedo with a black and yellow polka dot tie.
Fuck, I don't want to Photoshop that, Avi.
Oh, yes, you have to.
But I have to
Neck
chroma
fat
key his face.
squeezing out of the...
I have to chroma key his neck fat green.
You have to get rid of his hair.
I'll slick it back. In a big yellow zoot suit.
Same weight, so he just looks big on campus.
The yellow polka dot tie. Even his head was different. It looked like Jim Carrey, but with no hair, and the whole head colored green. It started to speak.
It?
Smoking!
Smoking, big hoss.
As he said that, he went to the nearest mirror and said, "It's party time, P-A-R-T. Why? Because I gotta."
He's gonna break everything of value in the pawn shop.
That is the best episode I've ever watched.
During that whole statement, Rick Harrison comes out of the office to see what the hell is going on. "Chumley, get that off your face," he said. Once speaking, Chumley turned around to a camera that wasn't there. "I think he wants to communicate." He then pulls out what looks to be a small air horn and that says "Squeeze me gently" on it. As Chumley squeezes the air horn, it goes, "Auga!" In the aftermath, Rick and Big Hoss are on the floor covered with glass and jewelry.
Oh, man.
Blows all the jewelry containers apart.
Shatters all of their cases.
As they picked themselves up, they saw how bad the damage was the air horn did to the shop. Everything was destroyed, including the windows, glass displays, any fragile items, customers' phone screens, eyeglasses, any cars that passed by the shop. During the ruckus, the old man comes out from the buy room and sees that the shop was destroyed, and using his elderly intuition, concluded that the green-headed funny man that was now dancing was the culprit. With this new information, he gives the mask a good look. His brow goes flaccid, and his frown indicates that he is going to kick this guy's ass.
Oh, damn.
Old man versus Chumley the Mask.
He's hobbling over there with his stoic form.
He's secretly fucking, what's his name, Zeus from the second movie.
Just the thought of him, like, taking so long to get over to kick his ass. How slow he moves.
The camera never moving from position.
After giving this look, he goes back into the buy room and comes out with a pump-action 12-gauge shotgun.
That too.
Old man with a shotgun is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
As the old man aims his bad customer solution at that mask, the mask then turns around.
Holy fuck. Just keeps that under glass labeled that.
His bad customer solution.
The mask turns around to the old man, then cocks both of his brows and screams as his eyes pop out. "Ah!" And then turns around in the spinning motion. As the old man begins to fire, the mask jumps up and down around the store, which causes the old man to fire in multiple directions, practically destroying his store even more.
No.
Doof, doof, doof.
He's just elastically dodging everything.
And endangering the lives of his visiting customers and his own kin. During the scuffle, the mask jumps out of the shattered window into the live traffic, in which he is ran over by multiple cars, which surprisingly result in him being flattened like a pancake.
Oh no.
Once the dust from the vehicular accident settles, he picks up his head and looks to another pretend camera and says, "Look, Ma, I'm a roadkill." And he gets back on his feet and reinflates himself. After that, the old man kicks down the door and tries to get another shot at the mask. But unfortunately, for the old man, the mask got away in his tornado. With a newfound purpose in his already deteriorating life, the old man will have to hunt down the mask in order to get the money he owes for destroying the store.
He's like the end.
But first, he's gonna need some backup. Okay, there's more. I gotta go drink some water.
Yeah, you gotta prep your old man voice. You gotta blow out your cheeks as hard as they can.
Just Chumley bouncing around, squashing and morphing.
Yeah, this portly man in a zoot suit.
Yeah.
Cartoon physics.
Imagine it's just like Chumley's face with a fat filter on with his huge neck and the zoot suit. So the old man enters the store. He gets to Rick and Big Hoss, who are trying to clean up the mess the noise made. We gotta get our goddamn money back, so load up and get to looking for that green-headed fella, he said to them. And with that, he goes back into the buy room and comes back out with MP5 and dual Barrett 92s and an ammo box.
Christ almighty.
He drops the munitions next to the guys, then leaves the store to start his manhunt.
Again, him just hobbling around wearing his like all black outfit
Right.
in a hot sun.
Mm.
A hot California sun.
Once the store looks like in a more goodish looking state, they load up their weapons and head out to look for the mask. Luckily, it wasn't hard to track down the mask because all they had to do was follow the destruction that was left by him. After a good while of following the warpath, they came to what looks like the aftermath of a skirmish, with the police at a Denny's parking lot with various policemen getting injured by either having mufflers shoved up their ass or getting smashed through windows.
At a Denny's parking lot.
Christ.
After using some more basic detective skills, they concluded that he is probably at Denny's. Mask just having a meal at the Denny's.
These all elderly men, it is so funny.
That'll slow him down.
Just walking around trying to find this cryptid god creature.
The old man has so much energy for his age.
Right.
Really leading
He's
the
hopped
charge.
up on rice cakes.
He needs money.
He's hopped up on his chocolate sauce.
Once entering the Denny's, they saw the disgusting sight of the mask gorging on what looked like a combination of Grand Slam, loaded nacho tots, slow-cooked pot roast, and the spaghetti and meatball meals, along with a drink that was also a combination of fruit smoothie, Dr. Pepper, and Oreo shake. That's a drink only the mask could possibly withstand.
Along with this amalgamation of Denny's food, a pot roast and spaghetti.
We've ordered goddamn near everything on the menu, but we've never combined the drinks.
This episode is sponsored by Dr. Pepper. Put some pep in your step.
Now at Denny's.
The duo got a look at the staff, who's the duo? It's the old man and...
Well, I guess the old man's out on his own then. Because the duo would be Rick and Corey. Big Hoss. Unless the old man's also there, but he's elsewhere.
Yeah, the old man did go ahead. Maybe he's off doing something else.
Yeah, not using his detective skills.
The duo got a look at the staff, who was also looking at the mask. They all had fear in their eyes, knowing that if they don't give him what he wants, he will do to them what they did to the police officers. Knowing that, the mask hadn't noticed them yet. They had a good advantage to try to trap him. Once they had set their plan in motion, they had pointed their guns towards the mask. Come on, chum. I know you're in there. Let's take you backpack to the shop and get that mask off you. Big Hoss said to the mask. I don't even know what Big Hoss sounds like.
That.
Yeah.
It's very nothing.
Once it was said, the mask began to jump up and down like he did from earlier, but in a much slower fashion. After a few bounces, the mask began to show some sense of slowing down and now stood in front of the duo.
He's weighed down by Denny's.
Denny's will cripple any man.
You're gonna be in the bathroom so quick.
This Greek god artifacts, one weakness on earth is combining drinks and food at Denny's.
Grease.
Foolishly thinking he can finish a meal at Denny's and not feel it afterwards.
And hop up and down. The thought of moving at all after eating anything at Denny's.
Eats all that, swirls around in his stomach, and mixes even worse. And now he's
He shakes up the meals in his stomach and combines them all into one horrible mess.
Yeah, he does his Tasmanian tiger spin.
makes the fattest gas bubble humanly possible.
Shits his slump pants.
Chumley comes back with shit in his pants.
Fucking shit so hard out his eyes that it removes the fucking mask.
Look what happened. Well, Chumley, you owe Denny's a big bill.
And the dry cleaners. And the old man. This is coming out of your paycheck.
If the mask came off and that happened, he'd revert back to his normal clothes except just with a giant shit stain in his pants.
Uh-huh.
God.
The mask began to show some sign of slowing down and now stood in front of the duo. Knowing they had no other choice, they began to shoot at the mask. During the barrage of bullets, the mask began to bend his body at will. Much more than the average person can do at this sight, caused Denny's staff to be even more disturbed. Even one of the waiters became mute by trauma of the sight alone. Then one of the bullets actually managed to hit the mask, but as with these stories, it's not that simple. Using its cartoonish abilities, the mask began to shoot the bullet right back and hit one of the Denny's cooks right in the arm.
Oh!
Fuck
no.
you! The Denny's employee said in pure pain. Fuck you! The mask, knowing that it was the last bullet they had on them, the mask tried to run off, but he randomly tripped and fell through the glass door. Back into the parking lot. Once the mask got his bearings, he got met by a fist. It was the old man.
Whoa, holy
Not
shit.
even the mask can keep Chumley's body moving.
He fucking falls down in the Family Guy pose.
Yeah, his arm like behind his back.
His newfound purpose gave him the power to take down the mask with one swift strike.
This is like the antithesis to Big Boy's story.
Yeah, holy shit.
The strike was so powerful that it managed to knock off the mask from the body and reverted it back into Chum-Li as he fell face first in the hot Las Vegas asphalt. As Duo walks out of Denny's, Rick says to his father, "Where the hell have you been?" "I was sleeping on a bench nearby. I needed to charge up my power," the old man said.
I needed to charge up my power.
"Hey
That
man,
is
I'm
so
not even
good,
gonna question it," Big Hoss said to his two patriarchs.
Dude.
Once they heard the sound of more cop cars coming by, the trio decided to head back to the shop while taking the mask with them, but leaving the still unconscious Chumley in the parking lot.
Damn.
Another one for the criminal charges.
Once they got back to the pawn shop, they pick up the barely conscious Stanley and try to negotiate for the mask. Stanley, still dizzy from the noise, flubbed, "I'll take it for a dime." After that, he laughed and fell off the floor, now unconscious. On the floor. The old man then flicked a dime to him and ordered Antoine, the shop guard, to take him to the nearest hospital and drop him off at the front door.
Damn, I did not expect an Antoine appearance.
Same.
All in all, it was a really disastrous day for Rick and Big Hoss. But overall, it was a great day for the old man because he'd reawakened an old power he thought he'd lost long ago. The end.
They had to unload so much money and ammo all over the fucking city.
All over the Denny's.
I was taking a nap on a bench. I had to recharge my power. I rate that the old man's power level out of 10.
I rate that old man charge character.
I rate that Chumley not paying his fucking ticket at Denny's before leaving.
God, Chumley transforming into the mask killed me.
Same.
Did
Immediately.
not comprehend that.
Of all of them who had to be Chumley, he's already the gag character.
Right. Holy shit.
Thank you, Avi. That was an incredible experience.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, man. It's amazing.
Alright, we've got one left. Our main man here, V-Vlogs, wrote this one for us just so we could have like a full episode setup of stories.
Hell yeah.
But we do thank you guys for joining in and participating in this jam. We're still going to do more regardless down the line. This has been a lot of fun. Having these purely comedic satires slam us has been a fantastic episode.
Mm.
Yeah, usually it's so rare we get to read ones like this. We just have to make do with what we have.
Yeah. Let's see here. Alright, I think I'll go next. Well, I have to, but...
Where have
Alright.
you been?
In the mask mind.
Yeah, slowly trying to put the lore together piece by piece. Alright.
Steven, you should put on the mask and then post on Twitter at hypersonic speed.
I'll buy another mask that's just green with big teeth.
Just paint your face green.
Smoking.
And then just rapid tweet on Twitter like never before.
Like, chroma key your face off.
I can be like fucking Ricky Berwick and just reply to fucking only fan models and like clips of me saying smoking.
Smoking!
It's a new one every time, but you do it exactly the same.
Yeah.
There's like minute differences in like the background or something, but it's always the same with face and voice.
Every morning you sadly put on your green face paint before work.
And then you work.
All the primer, all the fucking face cream.
The 9 to 5 green face.
Whenever you're looking at anything for reference or for research or whatever, you just comment on it with that.
You have the time, no one even, you're just doing it for you. No one could have any possible knowledge that you're doing green face.
That'd be such a fucking cryptid thing to go into this hentai artist and just they look in the tweets and replies and all I have is just fucking the mask impersonations.
It's like 3 comments like, wow, great drawing. I like this one. Smokey!
I'm
so read the fucking room.
Sitting back with a fucking big ass Cuban cigar.
Lighting up in your damn room.
The smoke alarm like comes on right as the video cuts off.
Smoke alarm going while you're smoking.
Hotbox yourself with one cigar.
Oh,
God
Lord.
damn. The mask is so funny.
It is. It's untapped territory.
It's true.
Honestly.
Let's see here. All right. A long stretch of Nevada highway separated 3 boys from the city of silver and gold. They biked and biked, but still they were miles away. After some time, a glimmer of the city appeared on the horizon. The only one brave enough to wear a beanie in this heat breathed a sigh of relief. Phew, I was beginning to think we wouldn't make it, the shortest of the 3 with a burned forehead, short a glare in beanie direction. Shut up, Double D! Don't you tease me!
Oh.
We've been biking for 3 days! The tall one raised a hand to his head in salute and said, "Ahoy, Captain, we have arrived!" They biked well over the horizon and into the bustling city. As they hit sidewalk, they dodged all sorts of scary folk. Ruthless gamblers with full zoot suits, tourists in big Hawaiian shirts, women of the night leaning on Double D as they went past, who shuddered and tightened his grip on the bike seat. He said, Eddie, let's hurry up and find this silver and pond place before anything bad happens. Ed turned and smiled. Relax, Double D. This is the city of opportunity.
That should have been Eddie, I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Relax, Double D. This is the city of opportunity. Money is practically falling out of the sky. Watch this. And he placed one hand out and closed his eyes. Just then a man stuck his head out of a 3rd-story window above and spat a fat loogie right into his outstretched arm, splatting and covering Eddie's fingers in muck. Ah! Double D screamed. Eddie squinted his eyes as if examining this new material, quickly realizing it was, in fact, just spit. He wiped it on Ed's jacket, who just biked along as if nothing happened. Eddie's expression straightened, and they wordlessly continued along. After another 30 minutes or so, watching the buildings go by, they arrived at a shabby parking lot with a sign above that said, "Gold and Silver Pond." Ed looked up and smiled, then collapsed with the bike onto the parking lot. Eddie and Double D hopped off, patting Ed's head as he began to sleep. They waddled into the store and to the counter, squeezing past a bunch of slouching store-goers. Ed slapped one hand hard onto the glass case and said, "Good afternoon, sucker! I've got some grade A junk to pawn off."
Sucker.
In all caps. The cashier looked lazily down at the boy. His name tag said, Chumley.
Chumley and fucking whatever. What's his
Eddie.
name? What's the creator's art? Danny Antonucci.
Oh my lord.
Danny Antonucci. Someone commissioned him to draw Chumley now.
He probably looks similar to his brother.
Probably. Nah, I think Big Hoss would look more like him.
Oh yeah, true.
Chumley wouldn't be too far beyond though.
Yeah, how can I help you? Ed said, "Behold!" and rummaged around in his pocket before pulling out a wad of tube socks and placing it on the counter. Chumley said, "What are these?" Ed smiled. "Why, these, my dear man, are tube socks, slightly worn, never washed." Chumley looked around, then after a moment of silence, waddled to the back room before coming out a few minutes later with a man whose name tag said Rick. Chumley has to consider this. He has to run it by the boss.
Insult Rick.
You think we should buy this? It looks pretty cool.
Rick approached the counter, looked down at Eddie, and then the ball of clearly worn and washed tube socks, then back at Chumley. "One thing I've learned after 21 years, you never know what's gonna come through those doors." Then outstretched his hand and slid the ball off the counter and into the trash can behind the desk. Then turned and walked back to the back room. Eddie's mouth was agape. Chumley, like an NPC, returned to his position and looked back down at Eddie. He said, "Anything else?" Eddie was pissed off and went to find Double D, looking over some memorabilia in a glass case nearby. "Can you believe this place, Double D?" "Why, no, Eddie. Some of the things here are true treasures. Any history buff would be astounded to even..." Yeah, look! They threw away my sock ball! What else do we have to trade? Let me check my pockets. Double D proceeded to procure a few rubber bands, a ballpoint pen, and a small stack of sticky notes. The top note on the stack had a few drawings of the surrounding Nevada landscape, likely drawn on the bike ride here. Eddie snatched the items and made his way back to the counter. He once again slapped his hand down in front of Chumley, whose eyes slowly dropped down to the boy. "Yes, how can I help you?" Eddie reached up and placed the rubber band in front of him, which had been defaced with a small pen-drawn Gucci logo. "This is a Gucci headband!" Chumley picked up the rubber band and stretched it around his head, which squeezed it into an hourglass shape.
That gives me a headache. Thinking about his brain being smushed.
His Ed, Ed and Eddie style squash and stretch.
His head's all fat.
You can't just say that. Just because he owns a candy shop and has criminal charges.
Oh, I don't like this next sentence. The top part of his head began to turn red as Rick walked down from the back room. He looked at Chumley, then down at Eddie. He spoke. "One thing I've learned after 21 years, you never know what's going to come through those doors." Then he reached into his pockets, pulled out some scissors, and cut the rubber band off Chumley's head, along with a long lock of his hair. It flew into the trash can.
He shows just enough of a regard for Chumley.
They're all the same NPCs.
Fucking cuts his head in half. Oh my lord. It flew into the trash can, and Rick turned around to walk back towards the back room. Eddie again got red in the face, and Chumley said, "Anything else?" with a deep red mark going around his head where the rubber band once was. Eddie said, "You fat idiot! You would know the worth of a priceless item if it ran you over." Just then, Ed ran in through the double doors on their bike and smashed right through the glass countertop, flattening Chumley like a piece of paper.
No! This has already happened!
Flat Chumley is funny.
It's Flat Fuck Friday. Tuesday.
Chumley suffers in every fanfiction.
Good. He threw one leg off and put up the kickstand, then turned to Eddie. Did you trade for those quarters yet, Eddie? No, Ed, but those pawnmen are no match for us conmen. I'll think of something.
The thought of them trying to scrounge for change and for
Pawn shop.
They biked all the way here, broke fucking property, and then flattened a man. They committed 2 crimes at once, and they're just fucking...
They're children.
They
It's
just
fine.
need 3 quarters.
Have you ever had a jawbreaker so big it can swell up your cheek?
Not one that I can fit in my mouth, no. They are cool.
Yeah. You better start getting some quarters.
If you heat it up in the microwave till the center melts, then when you bite it, it explodes and it burns your fucking mouth.
Or if you just heat it up into the microwave until it explodes.
It would melt.
Couldn't eat it.
Let's see here. Yeah, when you heat it up enough, it would just get harder because of the fucking sugar.
Yeah, and then it'll explode.
It'll be impossible to clean because it'll be hard sugar around your entire microwave.
It'll be like a flash bang.
We'll be on the way out when I move out again.
Put in the heater.
Just as I'm leaving for the last time,
Yeah,
before
just-
I lock the door, just throw a jawbreaker in, put the timer to 30 minutes.
Oh
Just
my
scatter
lord.
jawbreakers all over the apartment. Like in the vents, behind stuff, in the microwave.
Put them in the dryer, turn that on for 2 hours.
Oh my lord.
Like 20 jawbreakers in there.
Dun, dun, dun,
Just
dun.
do that until they explode from the heat.
It would be so loud, and then when they go in to check, it would just be dust.
The perfect crime.
Think you're like tumbling cocaine or something.
There's just a rainbow smeared on the fucking dryer. God. The boys began wandering around the store, looking at some of the items, when they heard a loud groan from the back, followed by a whistle. Turning around, they saw a fat old man with gray hair riding their bike around the store in circles, knocking customers over as he went along at the brisk.
The old man's biking.
Oh, it's a horn, I see.
God, the thing with the old man is I can never see him with any other facial expression, but so him doing all these outlandish activities with his bland, like wrinkled face,
Yeah.
barely looking at people.
He knocked customers over as he went along at a brisk 4 miles per hour. He eventually stopped and got back off, kind of tumbling down. Rick rushed over and helped him up. Old man, are you okay? Boy, I haven't rode a bike like that in years. Who is it? Whose is it? Eddie. That would be our bike! Eddie snatched the bike away as the old man feebly grasped at it.
Oh, my bike.
Oh, this is mine. I want it back. I'll try to lie, you boys here want to make the money, I'll buy it back off you.
You're on my shit list.
I'll tell you right now, you are on my shit list. But sir, that's our ride home. We can't just... Name your price, old man! Alright, let me think. One thing we've learned after 21 years, you never know what is gonna come through those doors. Alright, that was 1 quarter.
I just used it as a transition that time.
I just like that that's his entire personality.
He offers them 1 quarter.
Eddie frowned. Are you kidding me? 1 measly quarter? All right, how about 3/4? That's the best I can do. The three boys walked along a desert road back home, big bulges on their cheeks from 3 delicious jawbreakers. These would be their only meal for the journey, and boy, was it a long walk. The end.
Incredible. I give that 3 jawbreakers out of 3.
I give that 3 laps around the store on a stolen child's bike without a helmet.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the Ed, Ed and Eddie fanfiction pool also.
It's true, there's surprisingly not a lot.
Hmm.
You know, all things considered, it's a hugely influential show.
Very true, very true.
Wasn't that Mega Man X1 or Mega Man Command Mission? No. Was it Command Mission? There was only Red with the Ed, Ed and Eddie boys in school playing the game on their mobile devices.
I don't know.
It was one of the very early episodes.
Yeah.
They were playing Mega Man.
I think it was a Battle Network thing, and they all had
yeah.
net navies.
That's it.
I see.
They all were in the net navies.
Well, this has been the very first Gold and Silver Fanfiction Jam. Thank you again, everyone, for listening and everyone for participating. We surely won't be restricting ourselves just to PAWNSTARS jams, so don't worry. When the time comes, we'll have some new ones coming, and you'll be able to flex your big, beautiful brains and pump out some incredible fan fiction.
Some nice American pickers.
American Pickers Jam. I mean, that has opportunity and that they go places, but
I'd rather do like a fucking Forged in Fire.
I don't know, I kind of like the idea of the pickers going to like the fucking junkyard and trying to buy the Ed boys van.
They go to Chris Chan's house! Now that's a fucking crossover.
How much you want for these cartoons? $1,000. Best I can do is $20. Okay. How much you want for that car? The best I can do is an Xbox 360.
How much do you want for this PSN account back?
Steal his PSN account?
Fuck.
Well, the American Pickers were like outed as as 2 of his biggest fucking like trolls.
Yeah, the tall guy's Blue Spike.
They never get called out. They openly
And the short
mock
guy's
him on
Clyde Cash.
And the fucking girl back at the place is fucking Julie.
No, Julie is Blue Spike.
Oh, that's right. She's the fucking other one.
Yes. What's her... Casey.
Yeah, Casey.
Casey's the girl.
Yosh.
The one and only.
One of them has a pickle suit.
God.
How much you give me to not wear this pickle suit during this episode?
The pickers go to the junkyard and try to buy Fat Albert and the gang's instruments.
I thought you referred to Chris Chan's house as the junkyard. They try to buy off what little toys these poor kids have. The instruments they forged out of trash.
They're unique.
For his pooper scooper fucking...
The pickers are all about antiques. And that's unique.
The Pickers go to Ring Long Land Island.
Foxy doesn't exist specifically on Long Ring Long.
Oh,
I know, but it's just the only place I can think of that they would go to that we'd meet them.
The Foxy Pirates become American Pickers. Foxy and Porsche go over and fucking...
Yeah, they do a Davy back fight with the American Pickers. So they can take their hot-ass wife.
Yosh. Oh my god.
Steven will have to draw her wearing one of the Foxy masks.
Hell yeah. At last.
That would fucking take the cake for your most obscure waifus. The fucking wife from American Pickers with Foxy's crew.
I really would. You're not
Naked,
wrong.
covered in cum.
Holy fuck.
Anyway, join us next time for our annual Christmas special!
Whoa.
Hell yeah.
I know, the year's come to an end already, if you can believe that. So, as per usual, we're going to be dishing out our homemade fan fictions about your favorite holiday.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah?
Yosh. Excited to write. Let's see. thank you guys so much for contributing to this jam. I hope you guys enjoy the next one, and I hope that maybe by then we'll be able to get even more.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, like, if the same people contribute, shit, that's still cool.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're just having fun with this, and the fact that anybody is gonna take time out of their day to do something creative like this is a huge win in our book.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much. This has been Crossing the Line. Our, let's see here, what was it? PAWNSTARS.
Our American Pickers Community Jam.
Our American Pickers Rule 34 Jam.
Send in your Pickers fan art now. Good night!
If there's one thing we know about Bluebeard, you never know what is going to come on that Twitter page.